Hi, I am Angela, giving you the news Angie's way. All right, let's get right to it. Last time on my other video, we were talking about the testimonies that came forward from the closed depositions of the witnesses. And we talked about, the president and why he's being impeached. So I'm just going to give you a recap. The reason why he's being impeached is because he asked President Zelensky, in order for us to give him any aid to help him fight off the Russians, that he needed to investigate the Bidens, which is his political opponent, for his own personal need for the 2020 election, which is against the law. So there's the crime right there. So he bribed this guy, extorted this guy in order to try to get this information. And then secondly, there's a cover-up. Whereas they took that phone call, that perfect phone call that he made, they hit that phone call on a server that's for top secrets. So it's far away from any other servers, and it is pretty much like the black hole. Those are top U.S. government secrets. So that's where they put his phone call. So if it was so perfect, why did they move it there? Why didn't they just put it with all the other phone calls? But no, they had to move that one. So that's where we are today. So today we're going to talk about Ambassador Sondland. Ambassador Sondland was a donor for Donald Trump. He gave a lot of money to his campaign. So he pretty much bought his position as an ambassador. All right, and so he's an ambassador over the European nations over there. Mr. Sondland, pretty much, this is something he always wanted to do. He's a wealthy guy, and so he always wanted to have some type of, political, he had political aspirations as well. So this is something he always wanted to do, so he went ahead and gave all this money, and Donald Trump said, okay, you got it, thank you. So anyway, so how he comes up, he's one of the witnesses that came forward and talked and give his testimony to deposition. So how he comes up is because he and Bill Taylor is the ambassador that replaced Maria Yovanovitch. She was the one woman that was fired because she was doing her job. Remember, Donald Trump wanted to get her out the way. Giuliani and his henchmen wanted to get her out the way. So they succeeded. So they let her go, and then they pulled this guy out of retirement. And he's been, working for the government prior for like 40 years. So he knows what he's doing. He's up to date. He knows his job. So Mike Pompeo gives him the job, ask him to come and do this and to do it for his country. So he decided he was going to do it. He had, reservations because his wife didn't really want him to do it, but he ended up doing it anyway for his country. So he's in on the scene now in Ukraine, and he notices that things are just not right. Something isn't right. Something is fishy. So he has this conversation, a text message with Sondland. Now, mind you, Sondland's not the ambassador of Ukraine, so I don't even know why he's involved over there, other than that the president just, since he gave him the job, he's going to tell him what to do. You're going to be the ambassador over there, but you're going to also be meddling whatever I need you to get done over here in Ukraine. So this is how this came about. There was text messages that was leaked out, or I guess, given to the public of their conversation. So this is a conversation that Bill had with Sondland. He says, and this is a text message, are we now saying that security assistance and White House meeting condition on investigations? This is what Taylor says. Then Sondland says, call me. When you don't want to talk about it on the phone, when you don't want to text it, because it's going to be detailed, call me. All right? So on September 8th and 9th, Taylor suggested that to continue to delay in security aid was benefiting Russia, referring to potential nightmare situations on both days. On September 8th, he alluded to quitting in protest. Okay? So the nightmare is they give the interview and don't get the security assistance. The Russians love it, and I quit. So what he's saying is, all right, so you're bribing them, but what if they don't give you what you want, so you still don't give them assistance? So this is not working out. This is not how we do things in America. You know, so if we say we're going to do something, we do it. And Congress already issued the money for you to give it to them. And Congress is an equal co-branch, and so of the White House. So you need to go ahead and give that money. But now you're saying on conditions. And it's not about anything that we need to get from them as a nation. It's all about what Donald Trump needs to get from them for his political opponent, because he wants to have a sure-in for 2020. All right. So then Sondland doesn't call him right away. All right. So finally, Sondland calls him and tells him. Actually, he texts him back because there's a gap in between what he said and then sounds like, oh shucks, oh he done figured it out and now he's upset. So let me call the president and see what he got to say. Let me see how he want to handle this. So apparently he calls the president. And then Sondland says the president has been crystal clear, no quid pro quo of any kind. The president is trying to evaluate whether Ukraine is truly going to adopt the transparency and reforms that President Zelensky promised during his campaign, Sondland wrote. He suggested Taylor contact Secretary of State Mike Pompeo or his executive secretary to discuss it further. So he pretty much saying, you know, this is what the Don is saying. So if you want to talk about this even more, you know, leave me out of this. You go ahead and talk to Pompeo because he knows what's going on too. All right. So Sondland pretty much said that there was no quid pro quo. So the Republicans were rampant with that one. Oh, you know, see, there's some little holes in this story, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, there's always two sides to the story. But once all the other testimonies came out and they all concluded the same conclusion, they all were saying the same thing, Sondland realized that he may have purged himself. Because not only was he firsthand, Bill Taylor was firsthand, and Bill Taylor said it was quid pro quo. All right. Maria was there. She was in Ukraine, but she wasn't in on a phone call. But she knew there was something going on too, and this is why they moved her out the way. Okay. So, and then there was some other prominent political people that came forward as well, and we're gonna get to that. There was I can't think of his name, but I'll get to that next time because we need to talk. It's Vinland. I can't think of his first name, but he was a military patriot who got wounded in the military, and so I think he was a captain. So we're going to talk about him, and he talked about the same thing. Now, he was in on a phone call. He was disturbed by the phone call, okay? He was disturbed about the phone call because he heard this quid pro quo, okay? So Sondland is like, you know, he's on the president's side, of course. And so he's like, you know, no, that's not what the president said. To me, it's like, so you call the president, and this is way before all this came out, and the president actually said there's no quid pro quo? Really? Really? He's that smart? Okay. You got me. Okay. So anyway, once he realized that everybody was saying the same thing, he decided he's going to recant. He's going to revise his testimony. And Congress was willing to give him that because they knew this was going to happen. They knew that they were going to, that's why they did it behind closed doors, so they didn't know what the other person was saying. So then they can't, you know, when they come before Congress, you got to say what you know. And don't lie about it. So he realized that he was telling a story. So he revised his testimony to say that it is indeed a quid pro quo. That to his understanding, we were holding this aid to get investigations on the Bidens. So, but he still may be in trouble. Because now, Miss Fiona Hill, she says that what he said when he revised it, he lied on her. So now there's a dispute between those two, who's telling the truth. So he may not be telling all the truth after all. Because it's Fiona Hill. That's what her name is. So she may be, you know, she may have something on him too. Because he's not telling all the truth. Because he lied. She said he pretty much lied on her. By saying when they were talking about it, that she was irate. And she was yelling. And she was screaming. You know, he had to calm her down. She's like, no, that didn't happen. Because I'm a woman. That has to happen? Really? Nah, that didn't happen. We talked about this. Like 2 adults. So he may still be in trouble because he may have to come back and I don't know. But anyway, so Sondland trying to clear it up, but I think he's already in trouble. He's probably in trouble with Donald Trump because Donald Trump probably a little upset about it. He had to be, you know, he believes in doubling down. You don't go back and change things. You just keep saying what you're saying, add on to it. So that's the deal with Sondland. All right, and so the next person we're going to talk about would be Volker. And he has a different story to tell. So, as I said, there's 2 sides to the story. So let's read some of his stuff and see what he has to say. But that's going to be in the next video. But I also want to give out shout-outs to VA. VA. You have changed history once again. You are now a blue state. You're not a swing state, you swung blue. All right? The governor is a Democrat, and so now his House delegates, Democrats have the power. The Senate, the state Senate, Democrats have the power. So maybe we're going to see some changes in the VA. And also, shout out to Kentucky. You know how the Donald Trump, like the Don, went to Kentucky the day before the elections to advocate Bevin, the Republican governor, who was not liked. But he went there, and that's where you saw those T-shirts where they're saying, read the transcript. It's a memo, okay? He has not released the transcripts, just so you know. All right? So I want you to stay on the up and up. Don't go for the okie dokie. He has not released his transcript of that phone call. So anyway, Biden lost. And Beshear, a Democrat whose father was once a governor, won. Yes, in Kentucky. Yeah, in Kentucky. So change is coming, folks. Change is coming. So I just want to give those 2 shout outs to those states for doing their thing. And Mississippi almost made it. Mississippi, I believe, once they redistrict Mississippi, that voters will have a choice and actually their voice will be heard for the people they actually want to run the government. Right now is run by the Republicans, and it has been for a long, long time. And there's time for a change. You know, I believe that power should balance out. It should be not just one type of party. It should be both sides, so people can experience what it is to be under a Democratic rule and what is it like to be under a Republican rule. We should have that choice. So that's all I have to say today. So have a good day, and remember, I'm giving you the news Angie's way. Oh, and by the way, please subscribe and like and let people know about it, because I'm here because I enjoy the news. I enjoy what I do, so I'm here to give you some information just to keep you updated, so you don't have to go scramble through everything else, and so you have some topics to talk about when you're at that dinner table. All right. Have a good day. Bye.